Visit CCGCastle.com and get 5% discount on your purchase with TCG Center 5 code. Check video description or visit CCG Castle for more. How's it going, guys? Welcome to the Pokemon TCG Center. Today's video is about Gyarados Retaliation. So basically, the Primal Clash on format is knocking on a door. It's September 1st, so no more Starling Megaphones, no more 06 and tons of other cards like a Trevenant and Seismitoad, no more item locks. So I think that Gyarados is going to be a very, very good and cool deck to play. So it can have two tools attached in it, which means that you can attach two Bursting Balloon in it. They cannot be scrapped, which is amazing. Also attack with double Chorus Energy, hit for 30 plus 30 more for each damage counter in your benched Magikarp, which is just freaking amazing. When you put in play Magma Secret Base, whenever you put Magikarp on your bench, it's going to be 2 damage counters on that Magikarp, and that means that you will be able to hit for tons of damage as long as you have Magikarps on your bench. So with 1 Magikarp you can hit for 90, with 2 150, and with 3 210, which is just enough to knock out almost every 170 HP EX with Fighting Fury Belt. But for those who actually have 220 with the Fighting Fury Belt, we have that Bursting Balloon, which will actually return 6 damage counters if opponent actually decide to attack us, and this is definitely going to be a knockout on both sides. But for example, Giratina is not going to be able to knock out your Gyarados if you have 130 HP, which is just amazing. For support, I'm also running 1 copy of Stardust Jirachi, 1 Mr. Mime with Bench Barrier in case of those Garantulas, and of course 2 copies of Octilleries with the Puzzle hand, so I can draw my cards until I have 5 in my hand, and I think this is very important because this is a non-EX deck. If you want to improve this deck to be a much faster, you can always run Shamings and maybe 1 copy of Pearl City to get rid of your Shamings from play, but in my opinion Octillery is much better because once you get down to maybe 1 or 2 cards with your opponent ends you, you can always use a Puzzle hand and draw more cards. The only problem with a Puzzle hand might be that Garbodor, but of course we can just one-hit knock out Garbodor with our Gyarados. From other cards, of course, I'm running 4 copies of Dive Ball and 2 copies of Level Ball. That's everything I really need, so I can search my deck for any 90 HP Pokemon or less. Basically, with the Eco Arm, I can shuffle any 3 tool cards from my discard pile back into my deck. So I can shuffle back my Bursting Balloons and Float Stone. If you maybe want to play Ultra Ball, so you can actually with Ultra Ball search also Gyarados, you can do that. In that case, you need to discard any 2 cards from your hand in order to use that, so I think that Level Ball is much better just because you want to set up in an early game. Later we can just easily play Puzzle of Times and grab from time to time Gyarados from our discard pile if we actually need it. 1 copy of Escape Rope, always good to have. Many times Escape Rope will bring you the victory, trust me in that. 4 copies of Puzzle of Time, basically with 2 copies of Puzzle of Time. At the same time, you can grab any 2 cards from your discard pile. 1 Special Charge to shuffle back 2 double Chorus Energies back into deck. Of course, 1 copy of Super Rod, 4 copies of Trainers Mails, 4 V Seekers, and from supporter cards I'm running 1 copy of Lysandre, so I can Lysandre any of my opponent Pokemons on the bench. Of course, 3 copies of N, just because I cannot play any more Battle Compressor, so I need to increase a little bit more my draw ability, so I think 3 copies of N definitely good, especially because if we have Octillery in play and we and our opponent down to 1 or 2 cards, we don't need to worry too much about N because we can always have a Puzzle hand and draw until we have 5. Of course, we need to have 1 Pokemon Ranger against those Glaceons and Giratina EXs, so a Ranger always good as a tech. 4 copies of Sycamore for addition draw. 1 Teammates. Once we get knocked out with Teammates, we can search our deck for any 2 cards, as you can see right here, and put them into our hands. So that those 2 cards can be pretty much Puzzle of Times, they can be double Chorus Energy, they can be any card we really need at that moment. A copy of Wally. You never know when you can use Wally, maybe even turn 1, so you might get that turn 1 Gyarados, but without Battle Compressor, that's probably not going to happen that often, but always is good to have 1 as a tech. 4 copies of Magma Secret Base as a Stadium card. Since I'm not running Delinquent, I decided to go with 4 Magma Secret Bases. But of course, 4 copies of Magma Secret Base are really broken because if your opponent play 170 HP like Giratina on the bench, it's going to be 2 damage counters on it, which means that we only need 2 Magikarp with 2 damage counters on our bench, and we can hit for 150, which will be enough to one-hit knockout our opponent Giratina. Of course, 3 copies of Bursting Balloon. The reason I'm running 3 copies instead of the 4 is because I decided to add 1 Eco Arm so I can actually reshuffle back my Bursting Balloons and use them later. 2 Float Stones for the free retreat, and of course 4 copies of double colorless energies. So if you're looking for any of these cards, as usual, you can find them on CCGCastle.com. I have the link in my video description. Also with TCG Center 5 code, you'll be able to get 5% discount on your purchase, so you should definitely keep that in mind. So I will play 2 games with this deck, and will definitely be very entertaining, so enjoy, and see you in the next video. So see you in the game. I will call the Tails this time, and it's a Tails. As you can see, I'm starting first, so let's go. Mr. Mime in the active spot. Okay, I guess I can live with that. So Mr. Mime against Darkrai. Alright, this is gonna be very funny matchup. So let's go with the Level Ball for one of my Magikarps. I know that on the other side is also Giratina, so I will definitely need at some point of the game probably my Jirachi, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to use Jirachi. How many double chorus energies I have? 4 of them. So none of my double chorus energies are actually prized, which is definitely good. Do I want to play my Bursting Balloon on turn 1? I guess I can do that, definitely. And we'll go with my N for 6 new cards. There's a Octillery, which is pretty good. There's also Trainers Mail sitting in my hand. And I also have Team Magma Secret Base. And there's a Float Stone sitting in my hand. But I'm going to take my Dive Ball just because I want to put 1 more Magikarp on my bench with some damage counters on it. So I can actually maybe attack on my next turn. I have Wally just in case if I will need it. I also have Octillery, so I'm going to be able to drop some extra cards with my Abyssal hand. Okay. So there's a Pearl City, and very interesting that it's on my side, so that means that I cannot put any more Pokemon on my bench. I already have 3, so I'm locked down for 3, and I really need to find my Stadium so I can actually use Stadium to be able basically to put more Magikarps and increase the damage that I can do with my Gyarados. Well, someone on the live chat actually talk about Ninja Boy, and I think that Ninja Boy is totally necessary in Greninja Break deck. This is definitely a waste of time and space. If you want to play Ninja Boy, you should probably play Ninja Boy just in heavy EX basic decks or any other basic decks. So I actually promoted my Magikarp in the active position. So that means that I'm going to take a knockout. And the reason why I do that is maybe I can actually find a teammates with my Octillery on the top deck. And this is going to be teammates for any 2 cards. But I didn't want to put my Octillery in the active position just because I might not be able to retreat it. So I think it's better to keep my Mr. Mime on the bench for now, so I can actually use it on my next turn. So there's another Trainer's Mail, and there's a Trubbish on my opponent bench sitting down, so that might mean at some point of the game I might not be able to use my Octillery Abyssal hand, and this is definitely going to be very bad. So there's a Float Stone on Yveltal and a Float Stone on a Trubbish. And of course knockout for 30 on my Magikarp, which means that I don't have Attacker for now in play. But at least Mr. Mime can absorb some pressure from those Darkness Pokemons. Until I manage the setup, of course. So there's a Octillery and a Dive Ball, which means that I can grab 1 more Magikarp and put it on my bench. So I definitely need to find a way out to get that double Color's Energy, Float Stone. I really need too much cards right here. There's a V-Seeker, but I guess I will just go with my Sycamore right now for 7, so maybe I can find... Okay, so there's a Magma Secret Base, there's a double Color's Energy, and another Dive Ball sitting in my hand, but I think I will just, for now, sit and wait. I have that Dive Ball, I have also Wally in my hand and 2 V-Seekers. Just going to pass my turn. I know that Mr. Mime can take a lot of damage. It have resistance -20 on those Evoltals, so I can definitely sit and wait to find that Super Rod so I can bring back my Magikarp from my discard pile back into my hand to do more pressure. And there's a Professor Sycamore for 7 on the other side. Okay, so 3 V-Seekers has been discarded already, which means that only 1 V-Seeker probably left with 1 Lysandre, so I don't need to worry too much. Okay, so when we talk about Greninja Break, I see some people actually discussing in a live chat about Greninja Break deck. In my opinion, the supporter cards you really need for Greninja Break, Ace Trainer, you want to run Ace Trainer in the Greninja Break deck. The other supporter card you want to run, definitely N. You can maybe even go with some kind of the Judge, because Judge is also a good one. It can definitely help a lot. But yeah, definitely Ace Trainer is a good one, and of course Fisherman, so you can bring back your energies back into your deck. So you have plenty of options. Let's go with N. I really need to preserve my V-Seekers for later. So there's a Jirachi. Alright, so can I maybe find another round, another Puzzle of Time? This is definitely going to be big play right here. So I managed to find 2 copies of Puzzle of Time, which means that I can actually hit for tons of damage right here. I'm going to put my Jirachi on my bench, and I'm going to use 2 copies of Puzzle of Time at the same time in order to grab my Magikarp and 1 Bursting Balloon. So this is definitely going to be very big play right here. So I can put my Magikarp on the bench. I already have attached double Color's Energy on my Gyarados. I'm going to retreat, and of course I'm going to use my Bezel hand for 2. And there's another Bursting Balloon and a Trainer's Mail, so I guess I can even go with another round of the Bursting Balloon, just in case that Darkrai tries to attack. So let's go with the full Retaliation, which is going to be 150, and since I have 2 copies of Bursting Balloons attached on my Gyarados, I'm not sure if that Darkrai would even try to attack my Gyarados, because he's going to take 120 damage counters back, which is a lot of damage counters. Alright, so there's a Max Elixir, and the Max Elixir goes down to a Giratina EX. And another Darkness Energy attached on Giratina, which means that he can hit right now for 4 energies times 2, 80, 110. And there's a Lysandre, which is going to be Lysandre on my Jirachi, so that's a big knockout on my Jirachi. But luckily I managed to preserve my Gyarados, unfortunately with losing 2 of my Bursting Balloons, but really doesn't matter. I have that teammate sitting in my hand, which means that I can grab any 2 cards that I really want. So I'm going to take my Eco Arm, and I'm going to take, of course, my Bursting Balloon and put it back into my hand. So it's time for a Bursting Balloon. I don't have Lysandre yet in my discard pile, but definitely I'm going to find one. I don't want to attach my double Color's Energy yet, so V-Seeker 3 times in my opponent discard pile. Let's just go with the full Retaliation for 150. Okay, so 150 damage on that Darkrai EX. So if Darkrai tries to attack, we'll take 6 damage counters back, which means that I can even knock him out with my Jirachi. But of course, if I want to play my Jirachi, I first need to find my Super Rod. And there's a Evoltal on the other side, and Professor Sycamore for 7, which means that I'm I'm down to 5 prizes. On the other side, Brian is down to 4 prize cards, and he's also down to 9 cards in his deck. 2 max elixirs in a row. Seems like there is going to be 1 energy attachment. I wouldn't be surprised if I maybe see a retreat right here. Oh, there's a reverse Wally, which means that I'm going to lose my Gyarados with the Dark Pulse right here for 160. 6 damage counters will be placed on that Gyarados, on that Darkrai, sorry, not a Gyarados, which means that I'm going to promote my Mr. Mime into the active position. And of course, I want to play my double Chorus Energy. I want to find with my Trainer's Mail maybe Super Rod, but there is no sign of the Super Rod, which means that I can take my Puzzle of Time right here. I can use my Eco Arm. I can shuffle back 3 of my tool cards into my deck. Then I can play my V-Seeker, and with the V-Seeker I can grab Teammates, which means that I can put any 2 cards from my deck into my hand. And of course I'm going to take my Gyarados, and I'm going to use my Super Rod. No, actually I need my Puzzle of Time instead of the Super Rod. Okay, so I have my Gyarados, and I also have 2 copies of Puzzle of Time, which means that I'm going to put 2 cards from my discard pile back, which is going to be Magikarp, which is going to be a Gyarados probably, or maybe I can even go with... I think I can go with that Special Charge probably. At some point of the game I will definitely need that Special Charge. So I think I can use my Special Charge right here. So I have Magikarp, I have Gyarados. Yep, definitely. Okay, going to put another Magikarp on the bench, unfortunately without damage counters, but really doesn't matter. Then I'm going to retreat onto my Gyarados and will use my Abyssal Hand right here. Will I be able to hit, oh, just another V-Seeker, which is good. And of course full Retaliation, which means that I'm going to take 2 prizes right there. The one is Magikarp and another one is a Gyarados. Very nice. So even if he can knock out my Gyarados right here, but he can if he can find 1 energy, I can easily put another Gyarados with my Magikarp without damage counters into the active position, which means that I'm gonna be able to knock out his Yveltal. So there's a AZ for the Shaman, and again replay on a Shaman, which means that he's gonna take 4 more cards, 3 more prize to go on the other side. I have V-Seeker, which means that I can grab Teammates. Oh, I'm not gonna be able to use my Abyssal Hand. Alright, so there is 120. Enough for the knockout. Gyarados, let's knock it out. Let's go with the Magikarp. Magikarp in the active position, so there's a Trainer's Mail. What we can find with the Trainer's Mail, we can find another Bursting Balloon or V-Seeker. I guess I will go with my Bursting Balloon. And as you can see, I can even force my opponent to promote one of his EXs in the active position, or even better, maybe that Garbodor, so I can knock out Garbodor and use my Abyssal Hand if I need it. But before I do that, I'm definitely going to play my Bursting Balloon, evolve my Gyarados. And of course I want to play my Special Charge, so I can bring back 2 of my special energies into my deck. Then I want to play my V-Seeker, and with the V-Seeker I want to take my Teammates. And with the Teammates I definitely want to take my Stadium and 1 more card. So 1 more card, it's definitely gonna be maybe even another Bursting Balloon. So I have enough damage counters right here. Right now I can hit for 90, but with the Magikarp I can hit for 150, which is definitely going to be enough for the knockout. And as you can see, I'm going to use my full Retaliation, and again I have 2 Bursting Balloons attached on my Gyarados, so even if he tries to attack with his Giratina EX, this is definitely going to be very, very bad, because he's going to take 120 damage and he's not going to be able even to knock out my Gyarados. So I think I really have nice chance to win this matchup. I also have that Escape Rope and Float Stone on a Mr. Mime, so I think I definitely win this game. So, Leron Clemency asked if there's a reason you play Mr. Mime. Yes, of course there's a reason why I play Mr. Mime. If you're not familiar with the Mr. Mime, so let's just first go with Escape Rope. Probably I can expect Hoopa in the active position. Alright, so there we go. There's a Hoopa. I'm going to put my Mr. Mime. And I'm going to use my Professor Sycamore for 7. I really need Super Rod, but I'm not going to be able to get my Magikarp. So let's just first go with that Professor Sycamore. And there is Super Rod, which means that I can bring back into my deck Magikarp, Jirachi, and one of my Gyarados back. Okay, so retreat onto my Gyarados, which means that I'm going to be able to hit for 150, and I'm short for a 1 Magikarp on the bench. So the reason why I'm actually playing, Mr. Mime is because of that Garwantula, who can actually does 30 damage to 2 of your benched Pokemons on your bench and also apply weakness. So that's the reason why I'm running this card. Okay, so that was Chaos Wheel from my opponent. And all I can think about right now is getting my Magikarp in play. So all I really need to do is go with my Professor Sycamore, take that Magikarp that I put back into my deck, and this is definitely going to be a GG, because right now I can hit for 200 and something damage, 210 I think. Yes, 210, which is exactly enough to knock out that Giratina. So as you can see, Darkrai Giratina easily has been knocked out with my Gyarados Queen. And this is my final game tonight with this Magikarp deck. So let's take a look how this will go on. So I'm starting with my Remoraid in the active position. And I'm going to play my Dive Ball. Oh, I think I have a pretty decent turn. Oh, there's a Caesar on the other side. Okay. So I need to think about... how to beat Mega Caesar. I guess by one hit knockout. But Mega Caesar have 220 HP, so I will definitely need to have my Bursting Balloons to preserve my Gyarados in play. Okay, so that was the Ultra Ball for the Hoopa, and Hoopa for Caesar, Shaymin-EX, and Shaymin-EX for the setup. Okay. And another Ultra Ball. Seeker, and I think it was the Energy for another round of the Shaymin-EX. Okay, so interesting. Already tons of Shaymins on the bench, which is always good for me, but I can expect something like a Pearl City. Oh, so there we go with a M, which means that I'm not going to be able to use my Wally for Octillery turn 1, but really doesn't matter. I can get much better card in the next hand, which actually is the case. So I have my Float Stone. I also have my Dive Ball in my hand, which means that I can grab one of my Magikarps. Just want to take a look quick on the rest of the cards I have in my deck. So 5 balls, 1 Puzzle of Time is prized, 1 copy of N is prized. So I now have 2 cards that has been prized. Sycamore is here, 1 V Seeker is prized. Okay. Okay, okay. Let's go with the Magikarp on a bench, King of the Jungle. Do I want maybe to play my Lysandre right here? What do you guys think? Let's go with Lysandre or not? I think I can take a risk. I think I can definitely take a risk right here. I'm going to play my Lysandre, why not? Lysandre or Hoopa, who cares? Maybe he's not going to be able to retreat. See you, Rebby, in the next video. Okay, so there's another Energy and Mega Caesar. So he can hit right now for 120 with that Mega Caesar, but hopefully he's not going to be able to retreat. So there's a V-Seeker for another round of the N. And I just burned one of my Puzzle of Times for nothing, and I'm really mad at right now. But hopefully he's not going to be able to take the Float Stone for the retreat. So there's a Trubbish on the other side. And it's my turn, and that's pretty good. So there's a Jirachi and a Trainer's Mail. So I'm looking for that Stadium card, but there's no sign of the Stadium card. Oh my gosh. So what should I do? I guess I should just take one of my Bursting Balloons. I should attach it onto my Magikarp. I'm going to put my Jirachi on my bench. Play my Octillery. Use one copy of a Dive Ball, of course, for the Gyarados, so I can have less cards in my hand. What else I should play? I think right now it's time to play another Float Stone and to go with a Abyssal Hand for 3. And there's a double Chorus Energy, which means that I can attach double Chorus Energy, but pretty much nothing else, which means that I'm going to play another round of the Dive Ball for another Remoraid, so I really need to set up at least. And for the next turn I can have another Octillery. I don't want to play my Puzzle of Time, I'm going to pass my turn. So somebody asked about Escape Rope. Well, Escape Rope bring me the victory in the previous game, if you watch that. Ghost Dog asks, can you make a Swampert Alpha deck next time? Probably we can do that next time. Yeah, definitely. Not sure when, but we can definitely do that. So there's another round of the N, and Crushing Hammer has been played, but unfortunately he managed to get Tails, and luckily I managed to find my Team Magma. Oh, there's a Float Stone. This means that I'm going to lose my Octillery right here, and the most important thing, there's a Garbodor, which means that I'm not gonna be able to draw some extra cards, but no problem. Okay, so right now Gyarados looking for the Retaliation against that Mega Caesar. I think I have a pretty easy task right here. All I really need is to knock out 2 of his Caesars, and I think this is gonna be pretty easily. So there we go. First Dive Ball says that I'm going to take one of my Magikarps and put him onto my bench. And the Level Ball says that I can take another Magikarp, put it onto my bench. And Teammate says that I can use any 2 cards from my deck. So I can use my Magikarp and I can use my Bursting Balloon. Boom, just like that. And another Magikarp is on my bench, which means that I can hit for 210, and I'm short for 10 damage, but there's a Bursting Balloon, so full Retaliation for 210, which means that he's not going to be even able to knock me out with a single shot, and I still have that Bursting Balloon, which means that he's going to be knocked out, which is just amazing. So we have a question from Mr. Oriel, which says, what do you think about the Typhlosion deck? Well, I didn't give too much. I didn't spend too much time looking at that Typhlosion because it's a stage 2 deck, and since it's a stage 2, it's not easy to play with it. It really depends on the rare candy and that setup turn. So in my opinion, it's definitely not that good as it should be. That's just my personal opinion, and I really don't like it. I much prefer those decks who can actually attack like stage 2 decks, stage 1 decks like Gyarados and other decks. So I'm going to play my Sycamore right here for the 7. I just need to find a way to get back somehow my Bursting Balloon. I think it's right time to play my Eco Arm and put back my tools into my deck. Then I'm gonna play my Trainers Mail. And Trainers Mail can give me exactly the card that I'm looking for, which is a Bursting Balloon. And I have a couple options right here. I can actually Escape Rope, but probably he's gonna promote his Hoopa. So I will just retreat onto my Gyarados, and basically I can use my Level Ball, but I don't want to do that yet. Let's just go with the full Retaliation, which is going to be 150, and basically I still have that Bursting Balloon, which will help me a lot. So there's a V-Seeker and another Bursting Balloon, which means that I can grab my teammates after I get knocked out for 2 copies of Puzzle of Time, so I'm in very good position. Yeah, definitely. Well, somebody asked about Bear Seeker Tail Gyarados, Barrel of Junk. As you can see, I'm running full Retaliation Gyarados, and it works much better than that one Gyarados. Somebody asked about Talonflame in Typhlosion deck. Yeah, definitely Talonflame is the good one. Talonflame is a very good card, and I think it can definitely be played in Typhlosion deck, in my opinion. So what should I do right here? I can hit for 150. I can take a risk, discard everything, try to get Super Rod, Level Ball, and knock out his Caesar, but probably I'm not going to do that. I will just go with my full Retaliation, hit for 150. If he wants to knock me out, he's going to be knocked out, so it really doesn't matter too much. I'm probably going to upload that Typhlosion deck. I will definitely do that. A lot of people has actually asked for that Typhlosion deck, so I think we should definitely try that tomorrow in a live stream, I guess. At the same time, tomorrow we can try Typhlosion live. So there's another Mega Caesar just enters the play, and there's another 120, and unfortunately, again, I'm short for 10 damage counters to knock out his Mega Caesar. But really doesn't matter. Really doesn't matter. I'm going to promote my Magikarp. I have V-Seeker, which means that I can grab whatever I need. And whatever I need is a copy of Teammates, which can help me to take any 2 cards that I want. And what I really want is Gyarados, of course, and I think I can even go with 1 Special Charge, not sure. No, I don't need Special Charge. So I will definitely take Gyarados, and I will definitely take... Let me see. Oh yeah, I will definitely take Team Magma Secret Base. Since I have actually that Sycamore in my hand for the next turn. And there we go. There is a full Retaliation for 90, which means that I'm going to take 2 more prize cards. And on the other side, don't have any attacker, and there's another copy of Puzzle of Time, which means that there is also Super Rod, and I think this is pretty much GG at this point of the game. So somebody asked, let me just see, Constipated Troll, are you from Polish? No, I'm not from the Polish. I'm from Croatia. But it's the Europe, if you're not familiar with that. Is the country in the Eastern Europe. I think it is. Eastern, not sure. It should be. Okay, so Crushing Hammer attempt. He got Tails. And I have very genius plan right here. I'm thinking about fighting that Escape Rope, who's gonna give me another win right here. Okay, so 2 copies of Puzzle of Time on the other side, I can assume that. But maybe not. Maybe they are 2 copies of Puzzle of Time, maybe for 2 Crushing Hammers, but really doesn't matter since I have that double Chorus energy sitting in my hand. Alright. So Crushing Hammer and Ultra Ball, very optimistic on the other side. Crushing Hammer, another Tails. So I think 4 Crushing Hammers, 4 Tails. That's the Gyarados. Okay, so this is gonna be Sky Return, and the Garbodor is gonna be promoted in the active position, which means only one thing. I need, oh actually Hoopa. I really need to put 2 of my Magikarps on the bench. And this is gonna be very easily, because I do have 2 copies of Puzzle of Times, and that means only one thing. The 2 copies of Magikarps is gonna be promoted. So I can put 2 Magikarps on my bench, and I can hit for 210, and this is pretty much GG. So as you can see, Gyarados is a freaking beast with 130 HP. It definitely works perfect. So